Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to play Legend from Roy Harper's debut album Sophisticated Beggar and Referendum from 1975 album HQ. It's easy to understand why I decided to throw these two together in the same video and same guitar lesson, because these two songs, they share a lot in common. To the point that I can imagine that back in 1975, when people first listened to Referendum, they might have thought that Referendum was just an electric version of Legend, with different lyrics. And actually it's more than that, and we'll see all the differences and similarities as we go along in this video. But the songs share the same guitar riff, although with a totally different vibe, and the first line of each verse shares the same melody and same guitar chords. I heard a songbird singing in the trees above my bed. There was a man from Marlborough whose problems he laid down. But after this first line, the chord progressions go different ways, and most of all, the songs have a totally different feel. While Legend is a kind of a mellow acoustic guitar mid-tempo ballad, something like that, Referendum is probably Roy Harper's hardest rocking track, with backing bands and electric guitars. So let's start with Legend. Legend is built upon this riff-verse structure that repeats 5 or 6 times, and it goes like this. Heard the songbird singing in the trees above my bed, in the valley of the shadow of the sea of living dead. I see the same old smells aboard my ship of shapelessness, meandering suspended in the amorphous tastelessness. So let's start with the guitar riff. The guitar riff is played using the E minor chord in the first position and with this melody. And you alternate these notes with the 6th string open, like this. And then before you start the verse, you hang on for a little while in the E minor chord, doing this picking. So here, when you play the 4th string open, you have to lift your fingers from the E minor chord. And then when you play the 5th string open, you hammer on the 5th string on the 2nd fret when returning to the E minor chord, like this. I'll try to play slowly. let's move on to the chord progression that goes with the verses. So you start with E minor. I heard a songbird singing. G, D, and E minor again. Bad. And then you do this descending bass to C. So you are in E minor, C, in the valley of the shadow, A minor, in the valley of the shadow, and then continue the descending progression from G, of the sea of living dead, to E minor, of the sea of living dead. Then you do this picking again, and then on the third line you are in E minor. I see the same old smells. G, board my ship of shapelessness. And D, and here you put your little finger on the first string, 3rd fret. And the 4th line of the verse is played along the guitar riff. Meandering suspended in amorphous tastelessness. Now let's jump forward to Referendum. And I can imagine this. Roy is trying out some of his old songs with his new electric trio, Trigger, and they are going through Legend, and the guitar riff is coming out great. Chris Spedding is doing some amazing guitar solos over the chord progression, but something is missing. The song is not fully working. So Roy decides to take it in a different direction and rewrites the song. I mean, this is just speculation, but it could have happened this way. So Referendum is built upon this structure, which has the riff, verse and guitar solo, and it repeats 3 times. There was a man from Middleborough whose problems he laid down upon another's doorstep in a distant stranger's town, but forgetting what he'd come for, and in patronizing tones he gave them all his clothes and bread to stop their moans and groans. Guitar solo. So the guitar riff is the same, but what you hear in Referendum is much more the electric guitar, which plays the riff in a kind of a staccato, like this. But I think there is an acoustic guitar buried in the mix and playing the riff as played in Legend. And after the electric guitar vanishes, you can hear the acoustic guitar playing that same picking that you hear on Legend. but in Referendum you don't hammer the fifth string. You just play the notes like this. So fourth and fifth strings open before returning to the E minor chord, and when you return to E minor you don't hammer the fifth string. So in Legend you play it like this, and in Referendum you play it Now let's check out the chord progression that goes with the verses. There was a man from Marlborough whose problems he laid down. So, until here it's the same chord progression. E minor, G, D, and back to E minor. And then for the second line you remain in E minor. Upon another's doorstep, in a distant stranger's town, E minor and D. And then third line, but forgetting what he'd come for, and in patronizing tones, same chords as in the first line. And then the fourth line, he gave them all his clothes and bread to stop their moans and groans. So E minor, C, and back to E minor. And then for the guitar solo, the chord progression is the same that is used for the verses on Legend. So we start with G in this case. So to learn this chord progression you just have to rewind the video and see how it goes for the verses on Legend. It's the same chord progression.